Alright, welcome to Unit 5, Lesson 2, Solve Linear Systems by Substitution. So here is our second way of solving these linear systems by a method called substitution. So what I want you to do now is think about what it means for substitution. And I'm actually going to solve this example using substitution. And then I'll show you the steps that I used, and I want you to go back and look and try to figure out where each step was. So, let's solve this. Okay, so I did all 4 steps needed, but I meant to circle this after I was done with that step. So I'm going to review these steps. So step 1 is to solve one equation for x or y, but the nice thing is sometimes they're already solved for you, so you don't actually have to do the solving. So we want one equation that's x equals or y equals. Step 2 is we're going to substitute that x equals or y equals from step 1 into our second equation, and then we're going to solve for the leftover variable. Step 3 is to substitute step 2 answer into step 1. So we're going to take the number that we get for our x equals or y equals from step 2 and plug that into what we did in step 1. And then we're going to solve and get another answer. And the last step is to check our answer in both original equations. So we're going to substitute in the numbers to make sure they work. So what I want you to do now is I want you to pause the video, look at this, maybe rewind the video and look and decide where was step 1, where was step 2, where was step 3, and where was step 4 here. So go ahead and pause the video with your group now. Okay, so at the very start up here is where step 1 is. I underline this because I recognize that I don't need to solve and I already have y equals. Well, this was step 2 here. I took this y equals x minus 1, and I plugged it in for that y. And then I solved. And when I solved, I got this answer here. Step 3 starts here. When I took my answer from step 2 and I plugged it in, and I got my y equals, and then step 4 is right here, where I plugged in my 2 answers for x and y and made sure that they were right. So I'm going to go ahead and do another example, and I'm going to talk through this one. So here we have y equals negative 3x plus 5 and 5x minus 4y equals negative 3. Step 1, solve for one of them. Well, we already have that done for us. Step 2, we are going to plug it into the second equation. So my second equation is 5x minus 4y equals negative 3. So I'm going to plug in this for y. So this becomes 5x minus 4 times negative 3x plus 5 equals negative 3. And now it just becomes a solve for x problem. So I distribute, so we get 5x, two negatives make a positive, minus 20 equals negative 3. Combine like terms. So we get 17x equals 17. Divide by 17, so we get that x equals 1. This is where step 3 comes in. We know that x equals 1, and we're going to use our step 1 equation, so y equals negative 3x plus 5. I'm going to plug this in for x. So we get y equals negative 3 times 1 plus 5. So y equals negative 3 plus 5. So y equals 2. The last step is to plug in and check. So if my x equals 1, my y equals 2, I start 2 equals negative 3 times 1 plus 5. So I get 2 equals 2, so that works. And the last step is actually optional. You don't have to do it if you feel confident that you got your answer right, but I always suggest that you do it. Because you can check your answer, that means that you should not get something wrong without knowing that you got it wrong. So that's supposed to be a 2. So we get 5 minus 8, which equals negative 3. And it looks like we were wanting negative 3. So that's how you solve using substitution. So here's an example for you to try with your group. So go ahead, pause the video, and try this with your group now. And here are the solutions to this example. So go ahead and pause the video again and review this with your group. After that, move on to the next example. Okay, here's our final example for this lesson. So you will notice that you have to solve for a variable, and whenever you do that, I would pick the easiest variable to solve for. It does not matter which one you pick and which equation you pick to do that in. You will get the same answer no matter what. So if you want to even test that out in your group, everyone pick a different variable to solve for in each equation. That way you can see if the results are the same. So go ahead, pause the video, and try that now. And here is the solution to that example. So go ahead and review what I did with your group. You'll notice that I took the easy way and I solved for the easiest variable I saw there. So go ahead, pause the video, review this in your group, and after you're done, this is the end of this video lesson.